First canto, second canto, third canto, fourth canto, fifth canto, sixth canto, and then seventh canto. In the middle of the seventh. So in seventh canto, what have you heard so far? Actually, after 6 cantos, we have heard the summary of first canto to sixth canto. And now we are in the seventh canto. In seventh canto, the topic is Uti. Okay? The Uti of Prahlada Maharaja and Hiranyakashipu in first 10 chapters, and Uti of all the jivas that are in between. That is in Varnashma Dharma in the last 5 chapters. So this is how the seventh canto is divided. In the first section, can be divided into these topics. The first topic was about how the Lord is impartial. And the second topic was about Prahlada Maharaja's instructions to Hiranyakashipu. And the third topic would be Prahlada Maharaja's instructions to his schoolmates, the classmates. And then the next topic would be Narasimha Dev's appearance and Lord Narasimha's benediction to Prahlada Maharaja. And after that would be the description of beautiful qualities of Prahlada Maharaj. And then we would enter into the topics of Varnashram. Okay. So far we have heard about how the Lord is impartial. He is not partial. He is reciprocal. That we have heard. First topic. And the second topic, Prahlada Maharaj's instructions to Hiranyakashipu. That we have heard. And today's topic would be Prahlada Maharaja's instruction to his classmates. And this can be divided into 2 halves. First half is Prahlada Maharaja directly instructing his classmates. And the second half would be what Prahlada Maharaj had heard from his Guru Narada Muni. He is instructing them to the classmates. So that is the second half. Okay? So this is what we are going to hear today. And I think we can directly go to the PowerPoint presentation. Before that, we have heard how Prahlad Maharaj was instructing Hiranyakashipu. In other words, Prahlad Maharaj was taken to Hiranyakashipu, and then Prahlad Maharaj spoke boldly whatever he had to say. Yeah, Vanam Gatoyat Haridashrayeta. Then Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, and all that. And at the very end, he says, Vina Mahat Pada Rajobhishekam. Yeah, Nishkinchananam Navrinita Yavat. He speaks to Hiranyakashipu all this, and then at the very end, he says, this cannot be understood. The subject matter of what I spoke cannot be understood without smearing the dust of the pure devotees. After that, Hiranyakashipu gets very angry. Then he commands his soldiers to kill Prahlad Maharaj. And then all those attempts we have heard. But Prahlad Maharaj is Prahlada Maharaj is Govinda Parirambita, always embraced by Govinda. So he was least affected. Forget about any infliction to the physical body. He was least affected even in his mandasmita, gentle smile. So that remained steady. That was the status of Govinda Parirambita, Bhakta Prahlada. And then Hiranyakashipu, he got amazed. He thought, what? I thought I got the boon of being immortal. He is a small boy. He looks so powerful. And he seems to be immortal. It looks like the death is going to come upon me if I try to kill this powerful boy. So his Hiranyakashipu was shaken up by the devotion of Prahlad Maharaj, the absorption of Prahlad. And then Chandamarka comes and tells Hiranyakashipu, okay, you don't be disheartened, okay? He's just a small boy now, yeah? But when he grows older, as he gets older, then, people change, yeah? So we will teach him more and more of politics and more of this Rajaniti. Okay, we'll take him to school, and then maybe over a period of time, he'll gradually change. So we will continue to try. Like that, Shanda and Damarka, they take Prahlad Maharaj back to school. Remember, this is coming back again to school. Pele, first of all, this was done before. And he was brought to Hiranyakashipu. And all this episode happened, and now going back to school. We will see. After this, going back to school, everything changes now. So, Prahlad Maharaj. Now, the PowerPoint, we'll see what happened after Prahlad Maharaj came back to school. Govinda Parirambita with his classmates. Thanks there. Govinda Parirambita. Yeah. So what happened? He came back to school. And of course, whatever Shanda and Amartha were teaching, it is all about, as we heard, Dharma, Artha, Kama, right? Everything based on duality. Of course, Prahlad Maharaja doesn't belong to that category, so he was not interested. And when Shanda Amarka, when they have these breaks in between, then they would go out and play. Prahlad Maharaj and the friends, they go out. Friends call Prahlad Maharaj for play. Then that would be a good occasion for Prahlad Maharaj to speak what he has to speak to his classmates. So, yeah, this is the one. So, look at this. All these classmates of Prahlad Maharaj, look at their attentiveness and their affection. Yeah. So, Prahlad Maharaj, when he was with friends, he was not, he was chatting. Yes, chatting his own way. He was doing Krishna Katha, that is his chatting. But here it is said that these classmates here, they were affectionate to Prahlad Maharaj and also respectful. And they were not so polluted by the teachers yet because they are still small. These three things, dear devotees. For us, all of us may be hearing Krishna Katha, right? But these three things towards the speaker, they really define the quality of our hearing. And these are very much directed to our Sri Guru. You know, Guru Mamata. We hear about that, right? Mamata to Sri Guru, affection. Mamata is a combination of affection and respect to the Guru Tattva. Oh, that can make a huge difference, a world of difference. And that's where Sharanagati Shravana happens. So and the third point is simplicity, not so polluted by the teachers. In other words, they were not so much fixed up with deep-rooted wrong impressions that they have difficulty coming out of it. Yeah? So they were still open to be flexible, moldable to what was being said. These are important. So they are like that, affectionate, respectful to Prahlad Maharaj, and they were not so polluted by the teachers. Oh, so what did Prahlad Maharaj teach? These As we heard, 2 parts, right? The first part starts now. Direct instructions to his classmates. And in these direct instructions, Prahlad Maharaja, he may be speaking to his classmates who are sons of the demons. But there is a lot for us to learn. First, Prahlad Maharaj tells us about the purpose of the human life. Second, spiritual urgency. Prahlad Maharaj tells us about spiritual urgency. Third one, after that, he tells how entangling material network, material thought can be, how entangling the material life can be. And after that, he says, after giving this reality check, then he says, what is bhakti? Yeah. And then finally he says, how does one get bhakti? These are different components of the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj to his classmates. The first one, he is reminding all of us about the purpose of human life. Kaumara charat prajño dharman bhagavatam iha durlabham manusham janma tadapi adhruvam arthadam. Kaumara, our human life has 4 stages. Balyam, Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Vardhakyam. Kaumara is up until 7. Balyam is up until 7. Kaumara is up until 15. Yavvanam starts from 16 and it is said up until 45. And after 45, 50, Vardhakyam starts. Prahlad Maharaj teachings are very strong, potent, packed, laser sharp, undiluted, and they penetrate through. No compromise. He gives a clear picture of what our condition is. So today's katha is full of that. Prahlad Maharaj teaching. He's saying in these 4 stages of life, Kaumara, Acharet Prajño. Prajño, if somebody is intelligent, then Kaumara Acharet, one has to do the acharana, practice, even from Kaumara. What practice is that? Dharman Bhagavatan iha, Bhagavata Dharma. One has to practice Bhagavata Dharma from the very Kaumara stage itself. Why like that? Because Durlabham Manusham Janma. This Manusha Janma, human birth is Durlabham, very rarely given. Tadapi Adruvam Ardhadam. It is Durlabham, rarely given. Adruvam, it is temporary, rarely given, but it is temporary. Though it is temporary, Ardhadam, it is meant for a purpose. And what is that purpose? This human life is an instrument for us to go back to Godhead. Back to Godhead. So this is the chance given to us. This human body, human life is the chance given to us to go back to Godhead. Remember, in the 5th canto, in the whole Brahmanda description, after hearing about all the Brahmandas, we heard from all the prayers of the demigods in the Bhumandala. They are the prayers of demigods. And what are they saying? When would we get that human birth? We are waiting for it. So we can practice devotional service. So we can enter into the spiritual realm. These are the prayers of the demigods in the Jambudvipa. And now Prahlad Maharaj is again reminding us. This is the very purpose of this human life. Yeah, to go back to Godhead. By doing what? By performing devotional service. So that is the purpose of human life. And then he says, oh, one may be thinking, these are all the sons of demons, right? Then they'll be thinking, okay, if that's the purpose of the human life, devotional service only to go back to Godhead, then what about my material happiness? For that, Prahlad Maharaj is answering. Material happiness, you don't have to think about it. Whatever is there in your account, whatever happiness has to come, it will come. Are you looking for the distress in the life? You are not looking for it. It is coming anyway. Same thing, happiness also will come. So you don't have to put your time, your energy, and your life air just for that, to get the happiness. It will come anyway. As the distress is coming, happiness also will come. So don't have to think about it. You don't have to use your human body, human life for that. But if you endeavor to be Krishna consciousness, then you're going to fill your bank account. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, by endeavoring for Krishna conscious, one attains the benefit. Since the happiness and distress is going to come anyway, so endeavoring only for material happiness is waste of time. The Prahlad Maharaj's words. And then he says, so instead of wasting your time for endeavoring something material, you have to endeavor in this human life for highest goal, as long as the body is stout and strong. This is important, dear devotees. Prahlad Maharaj is really waking us up. He is waking up. He already said devotional service should start in Kaumara Dasa, in the very young age. And now he's saying, use this human life for the highest goal. And there's a clause there, as long as the body is stout and strong. Only till then, we can only endeavor, as long as this body is stout and strong. Until then, whatever we can endeavor, that is all we can. Because after that, what happens? Now, spiritual urgency. Srila Prahlad Maharaj giving the purpose of human life and taking us to the spiritual urgency. Again, he says, 50 years. You may be thinking you have this human life. Oh, I have a long way, a long time to live. So I have a lot of time to practice this devotional service. But let me bring it to your attention. If you assume that you are living for 100 years, 50 years are gone for sleeping. Means sleeping and getting ready, whatever, the passive time. 50 years is gone. And first 10 years are gone in childhood. The next 10 years are gone in sporting. The last 20 years are gone with struggles of the old age, the body, the old body. It's not that just the struggle of the body. Old age has its own package deals. Along with the body, there's so much of insecurity and many things that come up. But so the last 20 years, struggle with the old age. And you are left with what? 10 years. And that 10 years also, one is wasting his life in sense gratification without devotional service. So this is how the human life is being wasted. Prahlad Maharaj is saying that. And then we are thinking, whoa, this is really waking us up. Okay, even though this is something okay, this may be something for his classmates who are sons of the demons and they're not devotees yet. Okay, But the same thing, doesn't it hold good for us? How much more time is left for us? After we subtract everything that is given here, after we know what age we are, yeah, how much more time is left in this human body? Yeah. Not only that, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, endeavor for highest goal as long as body is strong and stout. Strong and stout. And when somebody is already to the middle age, getting to the reality of these aches and pains of the body, oh, right? If our goal, like the highest goal, as Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Krishna Prema, Srila Prabhupada's words, loving devotional service. Devotional service. Service is happening. Chishtarupa Bhakti. But when is that love for the Lord coming out? When is this Bhava Rupa Bhakti coming out? What is the time that is left over for me? If we think about it, then we'll be like, oh my goodness, we don't have too much of time. Too much of time in a relatively healthy body as to endeavor, do the devotional service. This is bringing to our attention. Not that we have to get disheartened about this or depressed about it, but acknowledging the fact, oh, this is really staring at in our face, right? This reality. So after acknowledging this, what do I do about it? It's not something that I have to rush, push, or be impulsive, right? But something that I have to prioritize in my life and steadily, utsaha nischaya dhairyat, steadily, with enthusiasm, doing something about this bhava rupa bhakti, internal bhakti within, doing something about this with utsaha, enthusiasm, with determination and steadiness day after day. That's what we want to focus on. The Bahya Rupa, Chishta Rupa Bhakti will continue. How much can it continue when the body is giving up? Not a lot can be done with this body already. Yeah. But there is no disheartenment. There is Manasika Seva. There is Bhava Rupa Bhakti. This will come. This will come. First of all, we have to realize that our focus should go there. Second, we have to hear more about how that can be, how that can be awakened, risen. So we hear from those Raga Bhaktas and then steadily, prayerfully head that way. So Utsaha Nischayat Dhairyat. With that, every day, we want to count in that direction. That's spiritual urgency. Every day matters. Every day matters. Every hour matters. Prayerfully, gratefully, one step at a time. Spiritual urgency. Okay, so that is for us. And then Prahlad Maharaj. After speaking about these two topics, and then he comes and he says about this material life, how entangling it can be. This is especially for those who did not take up devotion, how the material affections can just bind one, and also any happiness that is obtained based on these material relationships and sense gratification. So that can be entangling. Also, for those who are wanting to earn more and more money, Prahlad Maharaj says, money is sweeter than honey. These are the words of Prahlad Maharaj translated in English. Money is sweeter than honey, so they don't even care for their lives. At the risk of their taking risk, they want to earn money. So it is so entangling. The attachments are entangling. And wanting to earn more and more money is entangling. Sense gratification is entangling. In this way, like a silkworm is bound in this cocoon. Yeah, a person with no bhakti in their life, with no practice of bhakti in their life, they are entangled in this cocoon. And he says, okay, when somebody is entangled like this, it's so sad that human purpose is defeated. Yeah. And knowing that they would go to hell by committing sin, still people cheat and accumulate money. All this, they sound like it is for somebody who has not much of bhakti, but is after material things. And next category, Prahlad Maharaj says, okay, putting that category aside, some may think, oh, they are very well educated and intelligent. But what use is there in that education and intelligence? They're like cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. All these intellectuals. Really? Of course, yes, Prahlad Maharaj says, because they have this thinking of mine and others. If somebody has the duality in their thought, they are like cats and dogs, no less than animals. So we hear that from Srila Prabhupada, right? Cats and dogs. And then in this way, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, what would the situation of this materially entangled people who can be sinful? Also, those people who are apparently intelligent, intellectuals, but still are cats and dogs, according to Prahlad Maharaj, because they have this duality, thinking in duality. And then he says, oh, my dear friends, though you are all sons of demons, yeah, you please stay aloof from this kind of people. It means all your fathers, the family members, they are demons. They have demon-like mentality. Okay, you may be seeing all this that your fathers may be doing. Stay aloof from them. Do not get affected by that with that kind of mentality, and take shelter of the Lord. Now he's bridging to the next topic. He already brought to their attention of what their situation is, because they're all from a demoniac family, right? So in the demoniac family, whatever he has described so far, that's what happens. And these are the sons of those demons. So what should they do now? Now he's saying, okay, you don't worry now. All you need to do is stay aloof from them and take shelter of the Lord. Then how to take shelter of the Lord? That's the next he's going to teach. Okay. Now I'll tell you. I'll teach you how to take shelter of the Lord. Beautiful teachings, dear viewers. Coming from the lotus mouth of Prahlad Maharaj, he's saying, Bhakti, taking shelter of the Lord, is not hard at all. It's not an impediment. You know why? Because Lord Hari, this is a beautiful shloka. Nahi achyutam preenayatam bhavayaso asuratmajaha atmavat sarvabhutanam siddhatvat iha sarvataha. Look at this achyuta, the Lord in the heart. Nahi achyutam preenayato bhavayaso. Nahi, it is not. Achyutam, achyuta in the heart. Preenayato, to have love for the Lord in the heart. Bhavayaso. It's not Bhavaya, so is very difficult to attain. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, it is not difficult to attain Preeti for Achyuta. Why? Because he's saying, Atmavat Sarvabhutanam Siddhatvad Sarvata, because he's very easily accessible. He's Atmavat, sitting right in the heart. And Siddhatvad Iha Sarvata, and is present everywhere. See how easy it is? This is not hard at all. To have Preeti for Achyuta. He's so much accessible, sitting in the heart, present everywhere. And then he says, well, as much as he's real, he appears non-existent to atheists who doesn't believe in him. He is masked by Maya to these atheists. And then he says, okay, did I not tell you? It's not too difficult to have Preeti to Achyuta. You know how you need to get there? I'll tell you. All you have to do is give up your demoniac nature. Act without enmity and duality. Wow, those are packed sentences. The whole Bhagavad Gita is just in one sentence there. Give up demoniac nature. Act without enmity or duality. Here, demoniac mentality, animalistic mentality. What is this? What is the definition of demon from the Shastra? Demon is who is against the Lord, right? Who wants to be the proprietor, controller, and the enjoyer. So against the Lord is demon, right? And non-believers, atheists. So they are demons. So that kind of mentality is demonic mentality. Against the supreme authority is demonic mentality. And what was the animalistic mentality that Prahlad Maharaj said? Cats and dogs, me and others, right? I and mine. Look at here. Mine and others. Cats and dog mentality. And here again, demonic mentality. Duality is demonic mentality. Why is it coming again and again? That it is animalistic nature, demonic nature, to have duality. Because the tattva behind this is Chetana. When it is Sankuchita Chetana, then that is when the consciousness is shrunken, budding stage and shrunken stage, it's not expanded yet. That is restricted consciousness, passion. Passion, restricted consciousness is passion. When the consciousness is restricted like that, then one tends to see the duality, like I and my, good and bad, two things. When the consciousness is restricted, when the Sankuchita Chetana becomes Mukulita Chetana, Vikasita Chetana, then that is expanding the consciousness. Then that is from Rajoguna to Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna to Sattva to Vishuddha Sattva. Vikasita Chetana, Purna Vikasita Chetana. So when the consciousness is Sankuchita, that is animalistic, demoniac, etc. Because the consciousness is restricted and it is shown as vision of duality. That's why demonic nature, animalistic nature. That's why it is termed like that. And now Prahlad Maharaj is saying, so give up this duality and do this thing. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kurata sahridam bhavamasuram yayat shati adokshaja. Only two things. Give up the demonic mentality and tushyati adokshaja. Please the Lord in the heart. Adokshaja. Just do these two things. How to please? the Lord in the heart, how to give up this duality? This is what you need to do. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sahridam. Sarveshu bhuteshu. To all living entities. Sarveshu, all bhuteshu, living entities. Dayam kuruta, do some kindness. Give some kindness to them. Sauhridam, be their benefactor. This is how we expand our consciousness. From Rajoguna to Sattvaguna. Tasma sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kurta sauhridam. Does it ring our bell? What is that? Jivadaya. Tasma sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kurta sauhridam. In this way, bhavam asuram unmuchya. Asurim bhavam, this demonic bhavam, thought, this demonic mentality, unmuchya, just give off. Give away this kind of demonic, in this way, give away demonic mentality and yayatushyati adokshaja, please adokshaja. So just by doing sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauhridam, two things are happening. The demonic mentality is put aside as we are pleasing Tushyati Adokshaja. This is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. And then he says, because these are all sons of demons, right? They might be thinking, if I'm always busy just doing Sarveshu Bhuteshu Dayam Kurta Sahurdam, just giving kindness to everybody and just being the benefactor of everybody, then what about my satisfaction? What about my happiness? For that, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, the devotees, by performing this, Sarveshu Bhuteshu Dayam Kuruta Sahurdam, and by glorification of the Lord, they are attaining deeper satisfaction. That satisfaction is much more than Trivarga satisfaction that our teacher Shanda and Amarka are teaching us. The Trivarga are Dharma, Artha, Kama. There may be some impulsive enjoyment there, but this satisfaction that one gets when they're doing Dayam Kuruta Sahurdam, and when glorifying the Lord, then that satisfaction is even more deeper. So that's why the devotees don't look for Trivarga, the lower happiness, temporary happiness. Prahlad Maharaj says, and then he summarizes with the last statement. That's why whatever we have heard in the school from these teachers about this material happiness and success, they are all external, temporary. Surrendering to the lotus feet of Vishnu is transcendental. So, my dear friends, the sons of the demons, whatever I told you now, did you get it? This is not very easy to understand though. It's a very confidential subject matter. Even to understand what to speak of realizing it. And one has to have the mercy of a Bhagavata, like Narada Muni. That's when we can understand these matters. And that's when we can realize these matters. He says that. That brings to the next topic, and these friends go, oh, Prahlada, you're talking about Narada Muni. And where did you get all this from? When did you meet Narada Muni? You are a prince, and when you are in the palace, it is even more difficult for you to meet anybody from outside. Can you please tell us? You're talking about Narada. When did you meet him? What did he tell you? Then Prahlad Maharaj says, what happened to him? is going to that flashback. He says, yeah, when my father went to the forest to perform austerities, his body was eaten up by the ants in the ant hills. And then the demigods thought, oh, yes, this demon, finally, he's eaten up. Like the ants were eaten by serpents. The serpents are eaten by ants. This Hiranyakashipu is also eaten by these ants because of his own karma. And then all those demigods, they rushed to our palace. And then they captured my mother. And that's when Narada Muni came there. Narada Muni said, oh, Indra, she's a sinless woman, a chaste wife. You can't be so merciless with her. Then Indra said, well, not that we want to be merciless with her, but we are concerned about the child in the womb because he is the son of a demon. We don't know how big of a demon he is going to be. So we are going to take her and keep her in our custody. And once the child is born, we want to kill the child. Not that we want to harm her, but we want to kill the child because he might be a big demon, the son of this demon. And then Narada Muni, he assured Indra that the child in the womb of the wife of Hiranyakashipu is going to be a great devotee. Indra, just with one time saying of Narada, he believed Narada Muni. He paid respects to Narada Muni's words and then said, okay, Devarshi, as you say. And then Narada Muni, he brought my mother very mercifully to his ashram and gave her shelter. And he started speaking to her the transcendental subject matters. But what happened is, Prahlad Maharaj is narrating all this to his classmates. But what happened is, my mother was hearing whatever Narada Muni was saying. And I was also sitting in her womb and I was also hearing. But there is a difference. My mother is doing Namke Vaste hearing, just for the hearing's sake. Because internally she's very much attached to my father and she's concerned if something would happen to her husband. She was anxious about her husband's well-being. And she was anxious for him to come back. And she was anxious for husband to come back and give protection to her child in her womb. She was caught up with that attachment. Being a woman, she was less intelligent. When we think, whoa, woman, less intelligent? This is discrimination. For those women who are not practicing bhakti, who do not have spiritual vision, their intelligence is bewildered in many ways. And the most common way is the women are more prone to emotions. And women are more prone to material attachment out of affection also. Because the body of a mother, the place of a mother is like that. That is the fact. But when the same woman takes up the devotion, whatever emotions are there and whatever attachments are there, if they are directed to Guru and Krishna, what will happen to that? Yamuna Devi Dasi, Yamuna Mataji, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Srila Prabhupada said she was a pure devotee. And she went back to Godhead after she left the body. So according to Kapila Muni's teaching, The attachment that one has, if that is placed onto sadhu, then moksha dwaram apavratam, liberation, doors of liberation open. So even though being in a woman's body with the attachments or emotions, if they are placed on Sri Guru and Krishna, what would stop them from going back to Godhead? So that is something that we need to understand. When we hear about women being less intelligent in scriptures, that is the context. If they don't have devotion, then women is a personification of lust, and then less intelligence, and then emotions, material attachments. That package deal is there. But when the devotion enters into the same person, then it's totally different. So Prahlad Maharaj said, yeah, she was less intelligent because she was so much caught up with the thoughts of her husband and coming back. And then long time passed by. So she forgot all that. But I remember Prahlad Maharaj is saying, what kind of Shravana was Prahlad Maharaj doing? And what kind of Shravana was his mother Kayadu doing? What kind of Shravana are we doing? Which kind of Shravana do we want? Yeah. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, said, I heard it all. I remember it all. And now Prahlad Maharaj is sharing what he has learned from Narada Muni. His position is different. He's beyond sharing. He's instructing. He's instructing that to his classmates. These are beautiful ones. So far we have heard about Prahlad Maharaj's direct instructions to his classmates. What are they? And so we can compare. It's beautiful, dear devotees. It's really beautiful. So first he said about the purpose of human life and then spiritual urgency. And then he showed how their life was already so materially entangled because they are in demonic family. And then he then tells them not to worry, and just to take up the process of devotional service. And then he says, devotional service is so easy. Nahi achyutam prinayato bhavayasam. It's not hard at all to have preeti for Achyuta. You just, because he's present everywhere and he's present in the heart. All you need to do is dayam kurita sapurudam. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kurita sapurudam. Just give kindness. Be a beneficiary to all living entities. In this way, you just shed off the demonic nature and then be pleasing. Yada tushyati adokshaja. In this way, you please the Lord. Simple. That's it. That is bhakti. Wow. Isn't that beautiful, dear devotees? That's an answer to especially the devotees who does not have too much of physical strength to do cheshta bhakti outside because of the medical problems or old age. Yeah, bhakti doesn't have to be only physical. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, do it, antarangika, do it. This is bhakti. Dayam kuruta sahrudam. And in the mentality, give up that dualistic, demonic mentality. That way you please Krishna. This anta bhakti can go on all the time, 24/7. That is also bhakti. That is bhakti. All we do outside is to get to this inside bhakti. So we don't have to be disheartened that our body is not cooperating with the outside Cheshta Rupa Bhakti. When we realize how what our how vulnerable we are, and how we are caught up materially and how we need help, then when we start to feel the urgency of it, then this will come out. So this is also bhakti, and this is bhakti, dayam kuruta sahudam. That is Prahlad Maharaj said that. And now, how to get to that state? Because he said, dayam kuruta sahudam. It's just in one statement he said bhakti, but we know how much of a struggle it is to get there from where we are. So now, in the second session, while he's explaining the teachings of Narada Muni that he has heard from, he's saying about sadhana bhakti, how to get to that achyuta prinayato. So that will be, in this way, Prahlad Maharaj is going to tell us about sadhana bhakti. Before that, he's going to tell us something about the soul, and then come to sadhana bhakti, how it beautifully goes to raga bhakti, and then he winds down quickly, saying how the human life should be, is meant for devotion and not for materialistic engagement. These are the four points that we are going to do. The first point is about the spirit soul. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, this is what I heard from my Gurudev, Shri Guru Narada. Okay. As the soul, okay, it's like this. As the geologist can extract gold from a gold ore, a spiritualist can understand the presence of soul. So soul is present. Not everybody may be able to understand that, but a spiritualist can understand. And how can we understand there is a soul? Because, first of all, this soul is present as an observer. It is present in the subtle body. Over that is the gross body. This is the location of the soul. Okay? And how do we know that this soul is present in this gross body, inside this gross body and subtle body? It's like this. See, how do we know that air is present in a place? Say when there is a nice fragrance coming, then we know, oh, this fragrance is there because air is there. In the air, this aromatic fragrance is there. Or in the air, this stinky smell is there. So with the odor or with the fragrance, we know that air is present. Same way, how do we know that soul is present? Without looking at the slide, you please ask this question to yourself. We know, Prahlad Maharaj says, we know that a soul is present because of the presence of intelligence. So soul's presence is understood by three divisions of intelligence. If the soul wasn't there, then these divisions of intelligence will not be there. So what are those divisions of intelligence? We have heard this before. Jagruti, Swapna, Sushupti. Jagruti is wakefulness. Intelligence in wakefulness. Intelligence that is present during sleep, the dreams. Yeah. And intelligence in the deep sleep. Because these three divisions of intelligence are present, we know that the soul is present. Okay. Fine. And now he's coming to the point. Prahlad Maharaj. This is, you see this subject matter, how this is nicely blending. First, he gave us the instruction. After the instruction, he's giving us the bhaktis, the science of bhakti. In the science of bhakti, this is the Tattva Jnana. First, he's giving the Tattva Jnana, and then he's going to explain the Abhideya. the practice of bhakti. So what we are hearing is now is tattva. Because we have to know for ourselves and even to explain it to others. Bhakti is not just emotional, sentimental. It is scientific. And this is the part Prahlad Maharaj is explaining. Scientific knowledge, which is tattva. So this is how we know that soul is present by these three divisions of intelligence. Okay. In the wakefulness, in the dreams, and in the deep sleep. This intelligence can be polluted because of the modes, right? If the intelligence, so when the polluted intelligence means the intelligence that is affected by modes. And when does that intelligence stay unpolluted? When the intelligence is occupied by Shastra and Sadhu Vakya, that's when the intelligence is unpolluted. If the intelligence is not unpolluted, by default it is polluted by the modes. Like Srila Prabhupada's simple words. If you're not engaged in bhakti, in the service of Krishna, you are engaged in the service of Maya. So if the intelligence is not occupied by Sadhu and Shastra Vakya, it is occupied by modes. And now Prahlad Maharaj is saying, that's why, see, soul is present here. And we know the presence of soul by these divisions of intelligence. And intelligence is polluted. And what to do about this now? All the miseries are because of this polluted intelligence. What to do is simply take up the devotional service, and immediately the pollution of the intelligence will be gone. It's Prahlad Maharaj saying. Just by taking devotional service, you will destroy this polluted intelligence. And then he says, how to take up that devotional service? Sadhana bhakti. When Srila Prabhupada came and gave us this sadhana bhakti, in the very beginning days, people were thinking, oh, this ISKCON, as if ISKCON is something new, something mumbo jumbo, put things together. Yeah, these words ISKCON, but the same word Krishna Bhavana, Antarjatiya Krishna Bhavana. Can somebody say Krishna Bhavana is something new, mumbo jumbo? Krishna Bhavana, the original consciousness. Yeah. So whatever we are given in bhakti by Srila Prabhupada is Sanatana Dharma, Krishna Bhavana, the original Bhavana or consciousness of the soul. To arise that original consciousness of the soul, Srila Prabhupada has tailored Sanatana Dharma, principles of Sanatana Dharma and Bhakti to our capacity, the Kali Yuga Jivas, without compromising the potency. So as we hear from Sri Prahlad Maharaja, please see how glorious is the Bhakti process that is given to us by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, it's here. What is Prahlad Maharaj saying? Oh, sadhana bhakti, you accept the bona fide spiritual master. Means, okay, accepted, take diksha. That's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshana. So, pariprashnena tatvidi pranipatena. You take the pranipat. So you take the property of a spiritual master, a realized soul. Yeah. And pariprashnena sevaya. Do service unto him. Prashna later, first service. Yeah. A rendering service unto him And then as his heart is being softened and then he's pleased, then you ask your questions. Yeah. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So accept the bona fide spiritual master and do the seva to the spiritual master. Take the diksha and offer your seva to Gurudev, Shri Guru. Offer all one's possession to Guru. This is Prahlada Maharaj saying. This is Arpita Bhakti. What is this offering all one's possession to Guru? Yeah, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, right, in that bhajan. Offering one's body in service and possessions, one's mind, one's intelligence. Is there anything more to offer? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chittete Kuriya Akya. Consciousness. So whole self. That is Arpita Bhakti. When we hear about this Arpita Bhakti Sharanagati, then we tend to think, oh, I don't know how that is going to be offering everything. I'm not going to have my anything. How about what I want? We may feel like that. But all the Sharanagati Bhaktas, they are relishing such great pleasure in depending on the Lord. So that's something very sweet that we want to look forward to. Arpita Bhakti. And same thing he said, Prahlad Maharaj, when he was talking to Hiranyakashipu. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atmanivedanam, Iti Pumsa Arpita Vishnu. First you offer yourself to Guru and Krishna, and then all these limbs of bhakti, he's saying. Now do the Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, everything. And he's emphasizing again. When you are doing it like this, keep in mind that to offer respect to every living entity according to the living entity's position. Is it that easy? How about we hear the tattva? Why is Prahlad Maharaj saying, offer respect to every living entity? Because Krishna Adhisthana, Krishna is present. Lord Krishna, for whom you are doing bhakti, whom you are wanting to please, is present in the heart of every living entity. So you are offering respect to the Lord, Krishna Adhisthana. So offer respect to every living entity, because Supreme Personality of Godhead is present as Super Soul in every living entities. This is something Prahlad Maharaj says again and again. Every other instruction is this. Atma. The Lord is present in the heart. He is present everywhere. Offer respects to Him. Worship Him. So he's saying, when you do your sadhana bhakti like this is what is going to happen to you. Dear devotees, we have light at the end of the tunnel. We are in this stage now, right? And we are work in progress. What will happen to us? By doing that, all the anarthas will be conquered. 6 anarthas are conquered, Prahlad Maharaj, in his words. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya are conquered by this Yajna, Bhakti Yoga, Sadhana Bhakti. While those anarthas are being conquered on one side, what is happening? The attachment, Ardha Pravritti, attachment to the Lord is increasing. Because the attachment to the Lord is increasing, the anarthas are being conquered. First, we are developing attachment to the process of bhakti, the doing things in bhakti. We are attached, we are practicing physically, right? To the Cheshta Rupa Bhakti. So first to the process of bhakti we are attached. And as we continue, get steady with the attachment to the process of bhakti, with the mercy of Guru and Krishna, attachment to the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna will happen. Initially, it's more of attachment to the process because we are told it will be like that initially. But when that gets steady, with determination, enthusiasm, second stage, towards the Nishta Ruchi, these things happen. Attachment to the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. And all this will happen from the beginning to the end with the attachment to the instruction of Shri Guru. That is the fuel from the beginning till the end, from sadhana bhakti to raga bhakti. And we hear in the morning prayers, even after raga bhakti too. It's the same. Yeah, so in this way, Ardha Pravritti, Rati and Prema to Vasudeva increase. And as it is increasing on one side, the anarthas are being conquered. So all our focus is to do this. Very nicely put together, Prahlad Maharaj. Then these things will happen. Dear devotees, see, as we are doing this is getting us through Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and offering respect to every living entity. That is Sattva. Beyond Sattva, especially when we are offering respect because there is Krishna Adhisthana. So see how the gradation is happening, transition from the Tamoguna to Rajoguna to Sattva, and then beyond to this Raga Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti means bhakti which is done with some effort as a practice. There is no taste yet, but bhakti with effort, sadhana, practice. When that is continued, then bhakti, spontaneous bhakti, raga bhakti, that the same bhakti will lead to the spontaneous bhakti. It's the same bhakti. Initially, it is with effort. And as we go on, it will be effortless and more relishing. In this stage, when it is more effortless and relishing, that is more spontaneous, we cannot stop ourselves from doing, that stage is raga. Yeah. And Prahlad Maharaj is saying, this is so blissful. When somebody realizes this bliss in devotional service, then they are liberated by that time. And look at this beautiful statement. Only Prahlad Maharaj can make this statement. What did he make so far? He said, Nahi achyutam prinayato bhavayasa asuratmajaha. O sons of the demons, it is not so hard to have priti to Achyuta. That only Prahlad Maharaj can say. The second statement by Prahlad Maharaj. He says, going to the hell needs much more endeavor than going back to Godhead. Prahlad Maharaj. That's the statement of Prahlad Maharaj. But we want to receive, we want to honor the words of this Maharaj, this Mahajanas. We want to honor and let that sink in our consciousness. In the words of Mahajana, Prahlad Maharaja is, going hell needs much more endeavor than going back to Godhead. And it is not so difficult to have love for Achyuta, the Lord in the heart, because He is very easily accessible in the heart and He is present everywhere. The words of Mahajana. Okay. Yeah, and finally he winds down now that he had given his message, how to do the bhakti, the sadhana bhakti, and how it comes to, gradually comes to raga, spontaneous. And then he says, again, because they're the sons of the demons, right? This materialistic tendency can stay deep. So one final time he's saying, see, a sensible man, when he knows that he's a spirit soul and is eternal, why would he go after these external things, temporary material opulence? Even the Swargaloka, those happiness in the Swargaloka, they are also temporary. What to speak of this happiness in this Bhuloka here? Yeah. And when somebody goes after this temporary happiness, sooner or later, one thing is going to definitely happen. They will get frustrated, either in this life or next life, because they will inevitably get opposite results. And one more beautiful thing that Prahlad Maharaj is saying, and this is the same thing, Vidura and Maitreya Samvada, the same point comes. Dear devotees, please hear this one. I want to hear this. One is happy as long as one does not endeavor for it. But as soon as one begins his activities for happiness, his distress begins. The shloka is beautiful in Sanskrit. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karminaha sadapnoti haya dukkham anihayaha sukhavritaha. Good. This is the last but one sloka. So we will say word to word for this. This is so beautiful. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya. Dukkha mokshaya. Mokshaya is to get rid of liberation, dukkha. So, for dukkha mokshaya, to get rid of the dukkha and to get sukha, with this sankalpa, iha karmina, if somebody works, so if somebody endeavors with the sankalpa or desire to get the sukha and to get rid of the dukkha, sada apnoti haya dukkham. This is pretty remarkable. Sada apnoti haya dukkham. The very formula is wrong. The very first step is wrong. With the intention of wanting happiness and to get rid of the misery, when somebody approaches in that direction, sada, always that formula will go round. Apnoti haya dukkham, that will end up in dukkham only. And as opposed to it, anihayaha sukhavritaha. Anihayaha. When somebody is not so much very actively pursuing happiness, then sukhavritaha. Then for them, sukha avritaha. Sukha is waiting for them with just a covering in between. It means sukha is already waiting for them when they're not actively pursuing for it. So, that Prahlad Maharaj. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karminaha sadapnoti haya dukkham anihayaha sukhavrataha. Yeah, he summarizes about the materialistic pursuit with that shloka. And then he says one last statement. Why are you so much attached to this? He is pretty sharp here. He did not dilute anything here. He says, how foolish is this to have attachments to everything related to the body, to your house, to your belongings, to your relationships, everything related to the body, when the body itself is temporary. This body is just embracing the soul for some time. After that, it's just going to leave the body just to get mixed in the Panchabhutas again. So when the body itself is so temporary, what sense does it make that you invest all your time everything related to this temporary body. And after spending all the life like that, what's going to happen again? Again, transmigration of the species. You get into the one more. You get into one more body. Does it really make sense at all? So the distress begins again in a different material body. Yeah. So, my dear friends, the sons of the demons, that's why. Please take up devotion. Now I have instructed you everything, all the facts, yeah, all the knowledge you need, the process, and the fruit of the bhakti. So please take up this devotion. And he's saying, please imply these words to us, and it will be very hopeful for us. This is the last final words for today. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, so my dear friends, depend on the disposition of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Depend on Lord Hari. In Prahlad Maharaj's words, that is bhakti. He is Govinda Parirambita. So his definition of bhakti, depend on the disposition of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Follow the devotees, and without desire, depend upon Supreme Lord and worship Him. This is very close to what we have discussed last night. Seeing everything as Krishna's, Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's property, and depend on Him in His disposition. And follow the devotees, stay in the ashraya and guidance of Guru Tattva. And it says, Lord is the most dear. He is the Suhrudam. He is the supreme controller. And when you do the devotional service like this, Prahlad Maharaj is speaking to us. This is the most auspicious condition of life. When you continue to do the devotional service like this, you will be exactly like us, the Mahajanas. Prahlad Maharaj is speaking to us. We are given this process of bhakti. Sadhana bhakti very nicely explained how it will turn to raga bhakti, all the symptoms of that. And he's encouraging us, just do this. Depend on the disposition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Follow the devotees. The Lord is most dear, Supreme Controller. Keep doing it. You will exactly be like us, Mahajanas. That's Prahlad Maharaja. Those are the instructions. And in this way, it says one final shloka. Srila Prabhupada and all the Sharanagata Bhaktas, they quote this so many times. Etavan eva lokasmin pumsasvartha parasmritaha ekanta bhaktir govinde yat sarvatra tadikshanam. Prahlad Maharaj. This is tat sarvatra yat sarvatra tadikshanam ekanta bhaktir govinde yat sarvatra tadikshanam yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. Same thing Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Ekanta bhaktir govinde. Then when that ekanta bhakti, undeviated bhakti to Govinda is there, then yet sarvatra tadikshanam. Stavara jangamati. Ishtadeva spurti. Wherever the eyes fall upon, the image, they don't see the material image, living or non-living, moving or non-moving. They see their Ishtadeva. Ekanta Bhaktir Go. That's Pravaha. So that's all the devotees. And this is quick to summarize anyway, since we have already done a little bit of it. Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj to the classmates. One is about, the first one is about the purpose of human life. To go back to Godhead. Loving devotional self. And then spiritual urgency. What is the reality of our life now? What do we practically do? It doesn't have to be impulsive disheartening, but utsaha, nischaya. Then antarmukha, developing those qualities. So that's spiritual urgency. And the third one is how materially entangling, how entangling this material life can be, like a cocoon in the silk one. Yeah, he explains all this and then teaches. So in order to come out of it, take up the devotional service, Prahlad Maharaj says. And what is that devotional service? It is, dayam kurata sapurdam, right? Bhava masaran muchya. So, discard the demonic mentality or dualistic mentality, and then dayam kuruta sauhrudam. Be kind to all and be a friend of all. In this way, tushyati. Yada tushyati adokshaja. So please, adokshaja in this way. That way he gives a nutshell of what bhakti means. And after that, he says, whatever I have told you, it's not easily understood. What to speak of realizing. Unless we have mercy of true devotees like Narada, we will not be able to understand the confidential subject matters. And then he speaks about how Narada Muni has instructed both his mother and himself, who is in the womb. And there we thought about which kind of hearing are we doing, which kind of hearing should we be doing. The hearing of Kayadu, her mother, who was pulled by material attachments and distractions, and the hearing of Prahlad Maharaj, which was very much focused, Sharanagata. So, and then what are the instructions he received from Narada Muni, as he was saying to classmates? That is about the tattva, about the soul, transmigration of the soul. Presence of the soul is by intelligence. Intelligence is polluted by the modes. So this pollution can be stopped by devotional service. So how do you do the devotional service? This is how you do the devotional service, sadhana bhakti. Start with taking shelter of Guru Tattva, Shri Guru, and then Arpita. Yeah, you offer, you take Sharanagati, offer yourself and your belongings. Very important is the chitta, offer your chitta, and then do the Navavidha Bhakti, and then offer respect to all the living entities. And in this way, when one is practicing sadhana bhakti, this will slowly turn into raga bhakti, where all these anarthas are going away, and raga or attachment to the Lord increases, and then prema rises. In this way, sadhana bhakti and raga bhakti are described, and in the end, how futile it is to endeavor for material happiness and to get attached to anything that is related to the body, because the body is going to perish. Instead, if the attachment is put on to the Lord in the heart, then the human purpose of the human life is well accomplished. So after saying that, then he says, okay, now please take up this process of devotion which is depending on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, disposition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and follow the devotees. In this way, also the Lord is our friend and is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So when you practice bhakti like this, then you will become like us, Mahajanas. He assures us, he instructed us, and then he's assuring us, Prahlad Maharaj. Finally, Ekanta Bhaktir Govinde, Yat Sarvatra Tadikshanam. One will come to this point wherever they see, they will see only their Ishtadevata. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chami Pashyati. Tasyaham na pranishyami sachame pashyati. Ekanta Bhaktir Govinde, Yat Sarvatra Tadikshanam. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you, Sri Prahlad Maharaj.